Hi YouTube, Metalfro again, back with another vinyl collection video, and this time I decided to do something with a little bit of a theme, do some stuff that was old favorites but new arrivals. And these are albums that I've been listening to for quite some time but have never owned before on vinyl. So first up, something that I've owned forever on cassette, and I've played the cassette to death, but I've never owned it on vinyl, and that would be Bleach by Nirvana. Now, Nirvana's Nevermind album was actually the first music I ever purchased with my own money. I bought the cassette tape for $2 from a kid at school so he could buy his lunch the next day, and I ended up with years of listening enjoyment. But this is a reissue of Bleach. As you can see here, it comes with a download of the album, and it is 180 gram vinyl. It sounds pretty good. I'm not sure if this was remastered from the original analog recordings, but it sounds really good. It's a nice, with being 180 gram, it's nice and weighty, and it comes in a nice clean package as well. Real simple setup here. Just a simple, Bleach on the one side, band pick on the other, and standard black vinyl. So then you've got a nice looking label there on the one side, on the A side, and then on the B side, a little bit different look there. I'm assuming that this mirrors the original vinyl release in terms of the design, having never owned it on vinyl or not knowing for sure, but based on the way it looks and everything, I would assume that that would be the case. Something curious, and I don't know if this is the case with all copies of the original release, but my cassette copy was missing at least one track. It did not ever have Downer on the second side. So it's nice to finally have that in a physical format and have the complete Bleach experience, if you will, in physical media. Next up is something that's not quite as old, but has been around long enough for me to consider it an old favorite. This is something that we bought, my wife and I bought on CD quite a while ago, and that is Norah Jones' debut, Come Away With Me. Great CD of sort of poppy, light jazz, and I know she's kind of moved more in an indie pop and now more, mainstream pop type of direction here lately, but she's always been a little bit of a musical chameleon. This first album, though, is really what broke her into the music scene, and it's just a really good little album. 10 songs, I believe it is all, or 11 songs. No, I guess it's 14. I guess I didn't realize there were that many, but good album, good songs on here. She's got a great voice, and I just love the whole thing. Just comes in a real standard sleeve with sort of the plastic inner sleeve, protecting anti-static sleeve. Just a real basic black vinyl with a label that kind of has the same color scheme as the album itself. And this has been a favorite for a long time. This is one of those that it's so mellow, and we've listened to it for years on CD and in digital format, kind of late at night, getting ready to go to sleep, or it's been one of those that we've used in the car to kind of lull kids off to sleep as we're driving somewhere. And so great music. Glad to have this one on vinyl, and picked it up kind of recently, and saw it, and it was a good price, and thought, well, this will be one that I think will sound good, and it does. It sounds really good on vinyl, and so I'm glad to have it in the collection and have it in this format. So now we'll go back in time a little bit further again. And this is one that I've wanted for a long time on vinyl. It's a band that I've been a fan of for almost 20 years now. And when I I picked up this particular album on CD as a new release, and there was a sticker on the plastic shrink wrap that mentioned a limited edition vinyl release. And you know, it was a clear vinyl and all that, and at the time I really wasn't that familiar with colored vinyl and things. You know, all the albums my parents had ever owned were all standard black vinyl press, and really other than picture discs, which I thought were, you know, kind of a rare thing, I really wasn't that familiar with colored vinyl. And so I wanted to get this because I had started to collect, you know, a handful of vinyl albums a few months before that. But I bought the CD during my senior year of high school, and never got the vinyl because at the time I think they wanted more money for it than what I felt like I could put forth, since I already bought it on CD. But I finally stumbled across a copy and decided to pick it up, and that is Rude Awakening by Prong. This album is not all that well liked, because I think most people think it's a disappointment after Cleansing, but I personally think it's a good follow-up. It's different than Cleansing. It's a little bit more focused in some ways, a bit less experimental and more straightforward, but there are good songs on here. They're catchy enough, and when I was listening to this the other day via this vinyl copy, all of the songs just came rushing back. And of course, I've had the CD forever. I've listened to it a number of times, but I really felt like, yeah, this is still a quality Prong album, and I'm, you know, a Prong fan anyway, but I really feel like this album doesn't get the respect it deserves, and kind of takes a lot of heat from fans when really it's a solid release. So anyway, nice quality sleeve there, very much like the CD, of course with different size lettering due to the format. And this came with the inner sleeve, which has credits and thank yous on the one side, some photos just like in the CD sleeve with these nice pictures and Russian language information there, which I always thought was kind of neat due to the theme on the front of the sleeve with the, you know, missile silo kind of thing. And then on the other side, the lyrics, of course. And as the sticker on the CD said at the one time, it is a clear vinyl. So that was kind of a big deal for 1996, which was the year of this release. But it was nice to have that Prong logo on the vinyl, just like the one that appears on the CD. And there is no indication as to which side is A or B, other than on the inner ring, the lead-out ring, you can see which side is A and which side is B. But really nice, clear vinyl. Nice to finally have this piece on vinyl, since I've been wanting it for so many years, and it sounds fantastic. The only problem, and I'm assuming that this is a flaw in either this particular vinyl copy or maybe the pressing, but if memory serves, there were 1,000 copies pressed, and this one, at the very end of the leading track, Controller, it cuts off just a little too early, almost like when they created the lacquer or whatever for the pressing, that they didn't leave enough time at the end of that track to cut it off. I know on the CD it stops at the end of Controller and then immediately cuts into the next track, but I think it would have been nice if they'd have kept that last, you know, half second of the track or whatever it was. But that aside, I'm glad to finally have this on vinyl. It sounds great. This is one of those pieces, like I said, that I've been wanting for a long time, so I'm glad to finally have it on vinyl and have it as part of my collection, and have one of those pieces that I've sought after for so many years. And finally, I will show you something that I didn't even know existed until just a few months ago. I have a friend who is also a vinyl collector and introduced me to something that he thought I would be interested in, which was a picture disc vinyl, and it's a movie soundtrack. And I saw that and I was like, wow, I didn't even realize this got a vinyl release, let alone a picture disc. What I didn't realize at the time is not only was it a picture disc, but it's also a box set. And that is the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie soundtrack. This is a really nice set that has the album in it, and if you can see from the label, also comes with some additional stuff. It says music from the film featuring your hero turtles. And my assumption with why they did that is because this was a European release of the soundtrack. And of course in the UK, anything that said ninja during the late 80s and early 90s was censored or changed. And so anything ninja was changed to hero or shadow warrior or something along those lines. So Ninja Gaiden became Shadow Warrior or something similar to that. Contra for the NES video game became Probotector, and instead of a muscly guy running around shooting aliens, it became a dude in a metal suit shooting robots. Things like that. And so it's funny that I think that they kept the movie title on the box, but then the sticker, you know, references Hero Turtles. So I find that kind of funny. But according to this yellow label up here, it says limited edition album box set includes picture disc, 4 laminated turtle masks, full color poster, and a Hero Turtle postcard. Now I ordered this from a seller on Discogs.com and was very excited to finally get it. You know, of course it shipped from the UK, and when I opened it up I was disappointed to find that it wasn't complete. The seller did say that he had this for years and years, never opened it, never played it, you know, anything like that. And when you look at the vinyl, it's very clean, and you can tell that he had never played it. So I believe him in that, but it did not come with the masks. So my assumption is, and his assumption as well, is either it was packaged that way and it was a mistake, or you know, whoever the person was that he bought it from had removed those. Either way, he graciously offered to discount me a little bit after I found that out and gave me a little bit of money back on my purchase. So many thanks to the seller. But this is the vinyl, the picture disc. As I said, it has the awesome movie poster design on the front, and then on the back it has the track list and some pictures from the movie. Fantastic. I've had this soundtrack on CD for a number of years, and years ago when we had the cassette, my brother and I, we absolutely wore it out. And so granted, having it on CD is great, but this really is awesome to have, and it sounds great on vinyl. But even though I'm lacking the masks, I do have the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, as you can see from the label there, postcard, which is kind of neat because it has the cartoon Turtles, which I also grew up with. So that's kind of neat. And then, you know, greetings from the Turtles, and has their faux signatures there on the postcard. Of course, I would never actually send this to anyone because it's a collectible piece, but it's kind of nice. And it mentions here at the bottom, the album, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, now available on LP, cassette, and CD. So I have owned and listened to this album in all 3 formats now at some point. And as it mentions, it also comes with a full color poster. So I will unfold that all so everyone can see. It is quite large, and it is a nice poster from the movie. Unfortunately, due to the quality of the photo itself, it probably wasn't taken on a camera with enough resolution or a high enough film speed that they could get a real good shot. So it's difficult to tell probably from the video, but it's a real grainy looking photo. But it's still cool to have because it's the original Turtles film, which I still think is the best Turtles related movie project that was ever released. You know, the sequel was good for what it was and fun to watch, but I didn't think it was as good as this. Obviously, Judith Hoag was greatly missed as April, and without Corey Feldman as Donatello, of course, you're also missing some of that comedy and some of that personality as well. Plus, the script was not quite as good, but it was still okay. But the original film is where it's at, and that's I have a lot of memories of that film. I had a T-shirt that I wore that was a film, TMNT film shirt, and actually, when my brother and I went and saw it, that was the very first time that he and I were allowed to go to a movie by ourselves. My parents paid for the tickets, sent us into the movie with our snacks, and they went and did whatever else in the mall while we watched the movie. But it was a great experience and tons of memories. So having this set on vinyl is fantastic and something that I'll enjoy for years to come. So anyway, just wanted to show you a few items and hope you enjoyed them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.